Tyrese full participant today, what all was he able to do?
Yeah. Yeah. He scrimmaged with a group of guys before practice started. Today was more of a walkthrough type practice for the guys that have been playing. So he did about a 20-minute scrimmage with some of the low-minute guys and some of the interns, and did well. So, if all goes well, if he feels good tomorrow, then tomorrow's in the picture.
Do you feel like you learned a lot about this team and some of the other guys in the couple weeks that he was out, and what you guys had to do differently?
Most of all, I learned how good he is. And these other guys have done a great job. And, they've gotten better, they've learned, they've worked through different things, everything from injury to being thrust into higher levels of responsibility. But they've all done extremely well. And assuming that things go well and he feels well tomorrow, it'll be great to have him back on the floor.
You've obviously spent a lot of that time kind of experimenting with lineups just to figure out how everything works with Pascal. I mean, do you kind of see that situation as continuing when you re-add Ty into the mix, and it's still about figuring out combinations of what works? Do you kind of view that as a continuing?
Yeah. But Tyrese is one of those players that when he's on the floor, things are going to work better. Just by nature, and so that's another important reason to have him back. And so, but Pascal is, we've learned a lot about him. He's learned a lot about us. Last 3 games in particular, we've looked to involve him more, get him more touches, get him more playmaking opportunities. He's responded extremely well, and we'll keep looking at it.
Is there anything you learned about him you didn't know already? I mean, obviously you faced him, you knew how good he was. You always, basically, anytime you talked about or faced him, you talked about how good he was. And is there anything that you've found by working with him closely?
I've been a long time admirer of his from afar, but having worked with him for a little over a week, he's a better player than I even thought.
How did Miles' back react? How's he doing?
He went through what we did today. He's going in the right direction. So he'll probably be questionable tomorrow. Ty will probably be questionable tomorrow. I don't know who else. TJ's right there. Yeah. He's back. Unless he gets an illness or something.
Right.
So, yeah.
We asked Tyrese about the 65 being threshold. Do you have any strong feelings on that? For the awards and everything else?
It's going to be a topic of conversation. There are many high-level players that are going to be close to the threshold, and the other thing about this is that when you get to the in-season tournament finals and you play a game that doesn't count as a game played, that's a serious conversation too. So, we'll see where it all ends up with all these guys, Tyrese included. But in all honesty, those are the topics.
Sure.
How do you feel about it?
I'm excited for him. It's an exciting moment for him and his family, and I'm locked in. I'm watching all the games, so really excited to see him doing what he's doing.
Hey, Serge, how are you feeling now? How's the hamstring? Do you think you'll be able to play soon? How's all that right now?
Yeah, I mean, the plan is to play tomorrow for me, see how I feel in the morning when I wake up, and that'll kind of dictate that answer. But I feel good. I'm ready to go. I think that the medical staff has done a good job, preparing me to get back, and hopefully I'm ready to go tomorrow.
Where did you watch the Niners game yesterday? With who?
So I had to take my girlfriend to her I didn't have to. I took my girlfriend to dinner for her birthday on Tuesday, and I just had my phone up next to me at the restaurant, and then I watched the majority of the third and fourth at my house.
What's the most memorable moment you have with Brock from back in your college days?
I think just we spent a lot of time together, like on the bus, going back and forth between like class and to the facility, like the facility and the parking lot for where you park to get on the bus are like right next to each other. So just like conversations through that, and then we would meet with Coach Campbell on like a bi-weekly basis and over a book that we were reading together. So I think just those conversations about leadership and stuff like that. But yeah, it's no surprise to see what he's doing for people that know him, and really excited for him.
What was the book you were reading?
You know,
I know it.
I know it, and that's why I wasn't going to tell that because I couldn't remember
What's
it.
it about, at least?
Like leadership and different leadership styles. I'll find the name for you after this because college is a little bit ago, but it was a good book. It was a good book.
How
How
have
did you guys meet? Like class or?
Well, like when you're freshmen, the only people on campus in the summer are like the football team, the basketball team, volleyball team, gymnastics. So I think like you had to do like athlete courses and stuff in the summer. So through stuff like that, and then I just kind of knew him as like the kid who had the Alabama offer, so I knew he was like probably nice. And then kind of just struck a relationship from there, and then I think our journeys were kind of similar in our freshman year. He was the third string to start the year, and starting by the third game, and I came in expected to redshirt and was starting by game 2. So I think that the majority of Cyclone fans had a idea that we were going to be part of the sports programs moving forward. So I think that we kind of related on that note.
You guys are taking the buses, so this is pre-NIL, obviously.
I mean, I still think if NIL is a thing, we still got to get on the bus. They don't let you take your car through the middle of campus. So, I wouldn't have mattered.
So the Portland game, was your hamstring hurting you in that game? What was the responding part that went wrong for this week now that you didn't play?
Yeah, I think that throughout the game, I think there was some soreness or whatever. And to my knowledge, I couldn't make it worse by playing. So, I just kept playing whatever. And my body just didn't react the way I wanted it to. I was hurting pretty bad after the game. So we did it. Just kind of get back to kind of square one of attacking it again and figuring out what we could do better and just maintaining that plan moving forward.
Does All-Star starter mean more to you than non-starter from last year? How does this all feel compared to the experience?
Yeah, it's a really cool moment for me, especially with it being an Indian, being able to represent not only this organization but the people who support the Pacers as well. So I'm really excited about that. It just shows I'm taking another step in the right direction for my career, and like I said, it's just a really exciting moment for me, and I feel like it's not possible without the success that we've had as a team this year. And I've always said team success leads to individual success, and so that's a big part of me being able to get to where I am. And it's really exciting for me and my family.
Where do you feel like you and Brock have something in common?
That's a good question. I don't want to say I would just say expectations for us from the general public wasn't super high, and I'm saying that as a lottery pick, you know what I mean? That's how I came into
star.
But you know what I mean? Yeah, I came into school not really expecting to play, so I think just two guys who have beat the odds and excelled in both their careers. So I think we can relate on that note. The biggest thing I think that people enjoy is there's just two people who really love our university. I think that's a big part of it. Iowa State's not a university that has a lot of professional success on in the NBA or the NFL relative to other power schools. So it's cool to see us kind of both doing our thing, and I think that's what gets fans of our university excited.
Have you texted him yet? Or,
yeah, for sure, but I don't know when I'll get a text back. He's probably blowing up right now. But yeah, we text back and forth pretty regularly. So when he gets back to me, he will.
I think you guys are off on Super Bowl Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that correct?
All NBA,
Yeah.
right?
The 11th?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
What do you do?
Where are we gonna be? New York?
New York, and then we travel to
Okay. Yeah. So I'll watch it in my room. No, I can't be around too many people. They'd be hating. So I gotta be by myself for that one.
When you think back to that time with you guys on the bus, freshman year, you're now an all-star starter. He's playing the Super Bowl. How crazy is that to think about?
Yeah, life is works in funny ways sometimes. It's crazy that we're both where we are, and I think if you ask either of us, we could imagine where we are today. And I think that's the the exciting part about the cool part about life is that you just continue to evolve, and as long as you put your head down and do the work, anything is possible. So I think that's probably the coolest part for us.
You guys just run into each other on campus, or have you gone out and had a meal together?
We spent some time together, yeah, eating and stuff like that. But a lot of times it was just through campus stuff because like guys are busy. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. We were supposed to get dinner last year in San Fran. I was hurt, but he was just getting the starting job, so he thought he probably should dive into the playbook more than go to dinner. So I'm sure if he's still in San Fran when we travel out there this year, hopefully we can catch up, get a bite to eat or something.
Is there any trash talk between who's better?
No, we both want it. We're not in the same sport, so we don't have to do that. We just want to see each other.
Can he hoop?
Huh?
Can he hoop?
Not to my knowledge. All football players think they can hoop, though. You know what I mean? So I bet he probably thinks that.
But one ask goes back on All-Star, but also Team USA. I mean, first off, you mentioned representing. What do you view as kind of, I guess, your responsibility? I guess when it's here and you're a starter. I guess when you're obviously become kind of an essential piece to this whole thing. Number one and number two, what does it mean just to be on that Team USA, just that first list to come out, just to know that you're in the first wave of consideration?
Yeah, I think that through the first part, responsibility. I think I just got to represent myself the right way, carry myself the right way, like I always do, and I obviously understand when I step outside my house, going anywhere, I not only represent myself but this organization as well. So just doing that the right way, and also having fun at the All-Star game, putting on a show, like doing what I do, and, like that's what I do on a nightly basis. So I'm sure being around other All-Stars isn't gonna. It's definitely not gonna make me not do that. I make me do it more, So that's the fun part about it. And then as far as the USA stuff, I've said time and time again, like it means a lot to me to represent our country and to play in those games. So I think that's kind of the first step to be in that pool. And I don't know when the final team gets announced or whatever, but I'm hoping that I can be on that team and continue to represent my country. I want to be part of the youth movement that's kind of going. Obviously, you see a lot of the names on there. This is probably their last Olympics. I hope not. I hope Brian and Katie and those guys play forever, but I don't. That's probably not likely. So that's probably the exciting part is if I am able to make that team, be around other greats, pick their brains and stuff like that, and get to spend time together. And also, I was on the USA team this year, and we didn't do what we wanted to do. So to be on the team this year and carry that responsibility for another year, I think would mean a lot, and kind of just get. I don't know if revenge is the right word, but yeah, that's probably it. Just to do the right thing and do what we're supposed to do when you wear USA on your chest, and that's win.
A couple more.
Imagine you thought you were going to get this one. Obviously, 65-game rule with All NBA. Is that something that's on your mind as you're thinking about coming back, and obviously what it connects to as far as your contract?
Well, yeah, I'm human like you guys. I use the internet as well. I completely understand it, and I understand what's at stake for me financially as well. But at the end of the day, it's also like I got to take care of my body to the best of my ability and put myself in the right situation. So, yeah, I know I don't have a ton of games left. I think it's a stupid rule, like many guys in the league, but this is what the owners want. So as players, we got to do our job and play in 65 games if we're able to. So that's what I got to do, take care of my body to be able to play in those games. And I think that you're seeing other players in the league kind of face the same thing. So as long as the owners are happy.
TNT tomorrow, you talked about looking forward to this game before the season. Now you have the in-season tournament on national TV, but does it feel the same? Do you still have the same eagerness level for this one?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's still juice to it. I'm excited to be on TNT anytime you get on national TV. I'm sure like Boston doesn't care they're on TNT every night, but I think that's the fun part about it is just being able to, more eyes on our team. Because like Roy Hibbert said, like people don't watch us play, so I think that it'll be cool for us to get on the national scale and play on a big stage. But that's kind of just comes with winning. I'm sure going into next year we're gonna have a ton more games on national TV just because of the product we put on the floor. So yeah, there's still juice to it, still exciting, and that's a team that obviously I got hurt against last time, but we're 2-2 on the season. I don't know if any team has really won a season series against them, so there'll be some extra juice for that for us, and we're playing well right now, so that we just want to keep that going.
How do we make the All-Star game a little more competitive, like basketball?
Well, I think that's what the NBA's mission is this year, right? They have went back to the East-West format. And they met with every team, but they met with every team before the season started, kind of about the significance behind, being more competitive in that. And but I also gotta say, people have to be realistic. Like he said, I gotta play 65 games. Dude's gotta play 65 games. I'm 23, so don't worry about me. I'll be all right. But I mean, these other guys that gotta get to that game, if you were in their shoes, would you take it serious if you had to play 65? That's what I'm saying. So
It's hard to watch.
For sure. So I mean, I think the Pro Bowl is they went to what they play flag football now. So it's we can only do so much. I think people have to understand that and be realistic. If we had, maybe I don't know. There's not really a way. I think that you've seen there's been All-Star games that are competitive, and I also think there's certain guys that dictate it, right? Like the top guys dictate it a lot. Giannis. He don't ever not play hard, you know what I mean? So when he comes out and he plays hard, I think other guys kind of respond to that. I think that's kind of how it works, but he didn't play last year, So, but I mean, I didn't care about how hard he played last year. I was just excited to be there, so that didn't matter to me. But I understand from a general fan's perspective how you want, there to be more juice, more competitiveness throughout the game. But you also got to understand there's a lot of things on the table for us, and at the end of the day, the All-Star game's not a bigger deal than winning a championship or competing in the playoffs. So you got to take that into account. But also, it's like you said, it's a showcase of great players in front of the best fans in the world on in the best league. So we got to represent ourselves and represent our organizations the right way. But you got to take that with a grain of salt.